Why is it so hard for me to start a podcast? It always feels so awkward. Hello everyone. This is my 5th start because I always feel so awkward when I start these. The start and the finish are always awkward for me. Anyway, my name is Amber. This is my podcast. It's called A Lovely Yarn. And this is my episode for the month of November. I'm sliding right in at the last minute. It is Monday, November 29th. I almost didn't make it, right? I hope you guys had a good month. I've had a good month. It's been a really, really busy month. It's very snowy today. We've had snow the last several days, so that's been really nice. I personally like the snow. It's so bright and it just makes everything feel cozy. And here in the United States, we had Thanksgiving this past Thursday. So we had a wonderful day, spent time with our family. We spent time with both sides of the family. And then the day after, we decorated our home for Christmas, which is a tradition. We put up our tree and we put out all of our Christmas decorations, except the outside stuff. We'll be doing that. We actually needed to get we needed to get new lights, and so we ordered a bunch on the internet, and we went out. We all got on our snow stuff yesterday because it's really cold, and went out, and I started wrapping lights and realized that the lights did not connect to one another, even though the listing online said that they would. So put everything back in the box, and I will ship it back to Amazon tomorrow. And we ordered we placed another order for lights. So hopefully at the end of this week, we'll be able to get our outside lights up. But anyway, I just wanted to fill you in real quick, and it's just been, normal stuff here. We live in Western Pennsylvania. I have 3 children. Our oldest is married and out of the home. This is actually our first holidays with him being married. And it's funny because I knew they were going to get more complicated, but they definitely do get more complicated, like arranging schedules and stuff. But I'm trying to be really easygoing about it, And then we also have another son who's 18, and our daughter is going to be turning 16 in 2 months. And so we live in Western Pennsylvania. I think I may have said that already. On a little bit of acreage. And this is a knitting podcast for those of you who are new. So thank you everyone for watching. And I'm going to, yes I do. I have one finished object. And I also have some quick Christmas knits that I wanted to share with you guys in case you're looking for something that you can make quickly for someone. And I have multiple things that I'm currently working on. So let's just go ahead and get started. And I always start with my finished objects. And I only have, I have 2. I forgot. Okay, I'm going to show you this one first. I love this. This is a Bluebird of Happiness. And I knit this out of hand spun yarn. This is actually not my own hand spun. So I'm a spinner as well as a knitter. And I purchased this hand spun. And I still have I think I might have enough to make another bird. So that's what I'm going to do with it. But I purchased this. We went to a Civil War reenactment when the kids were really, really young. And they had they had reenactors there. And then the one woman was there spinning fiber. And she actually had some that she was selling. So I bought 2 skeins of her hand spun, this bluish color. And then I also bought one that's yellow, which I wonder if I have any of that left, because that would make a cute bird too. But I made felted coasters out of this because it's very rustic wool. So it's wool that is too itchy for me to wear. So even as a hat, I feel like it would really be itchy on my head. So I have just been making little odds and ends with that yarn. But the other night I was in the mood to make one of these because I really like this pattern. Actually, this would make a cute little gift, wouldn't it? It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I provide links down below if you're new here and this is your first time watching. I always try to link everything I talk about in the description of this video. And so I knitted this up and I stuffed it with some merino wool because I have lots of fiber just from being a spinner, and it's adorable. I love it. I wanted to tell you, I've knit these up before as little Christmas ornaments. So I have some friends that every year we do a Christmas ornament exchange, and most of us there's 5 of us, and most of us make our ornaments. And so one year I made a bunch of these in fingering weight yarn, so they were like half the size of this. And that was what I gave for my ornament exchange, and they're adorable. I love this pattern. It's not hard. Super cute. So yes, my little bluebird of happiness. Then I just strung some of the hand spun on the top so I can hang it. I just have it hanging out on my little quilt ladder out there in our living room. And so yeah, that was that. Just a quick, I literally sat there and was listening to my book on audio, and I knitted that in probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It's really easy. Plus it was a heavy worsted hand spun yarn, so it went super quick. My next, okay, this also would make a good Christmas gift knit because it's very quick and it's made with worsted weight yarn, and you could make it with very economical yarn. You could make it with more of a luxury yarn if you wanted to, depending on, you know, what your preference would be. But I just knit this up in the last, I would say 2 weeks, and it's because I didn't work exclusively on this. I could have knit it much faster if I had. But it is a cowl. I find cowls are really nice to give as gifts because not everyone is a shawl wearer. Plus, a shawl is a much larger commitment, yarn and time. So a cowl makes a really nice gift knit. And actually, I have another cowl that I'm going to recommend as a quick gift knit as well later in this episode. This is another free pattern on Ravelry. It's called the Illusion Squared Cowl. I don't have a picture of it on the paper. It is charted. The color work is charted. It's a color work cowl. So you will need to know how to read charts, but actually chart reading in color work is really super easy. This is just a 2-color cowl. So if you want to do some color work, this would probably be a good one. Or if you want to learn how to read charts, it'd be a good one. I personally think so. Okay. So here it is. Okay. This is called the Illusion Squared Cowl. And yeah, it's very thick. I used Peyton's classic worsted yarn. And so this is a very economical cowl that I made. I don't know how much I paid for this yarn because I've had it in my stash for a while, but I know everything I show you guys, it's going to be backwards because of how I film on my phone. So I don't even know why I show you the label, but it's Peyton's classic wool worsted. And it's kind of a woolly wool. So I would say if you're knitting for someone who you don't know their sensitivity to wool, this may not be the best yarn choice because it is a little scratchy. It's not scratchy to the point where I wouldn't wear it, but it is a little scratchy. So here it is. And I think this is the perfect width because whenever I wear a cowl, I want it to fit snugly on my neck. Let me put it on. I haven't even blocked it yet because I just finished it the other night. But let me get it on here and I'll show you what I mean about. I could just tell when I was knitting it that it was going to be like the perfect circumference for my neck. So do you see what I mean? Like it's snug, but not constricting. Yeah, so this will be perfect. So in the winter, even though it gets really cold here and I, it's not always the nicest weather in the winter. I still go outside and walk almost every day because that's important to me. I like the fresh air and I just really enjoy walking outside. I enjoy being outside. So over the years, I have accumulated some good cold weather gear. And I thought this would be perfect because it's not so big and bulky that it won't fit under my coat. My coat zips like the whole way up to here. So I made this with the intention not to gift it because, like I said, it is a little scratchy. I don't find it really scratchy, but I know my daughter, who is sensitive to the scratch factor, she would not be able to wear this. And so I know that that is something that varies from person to person. So I made this with the intention of me wearing it this winter on my walks because honestly, I don't have a thick cowl like this that's super warm. So I actually needed it. But as I was knitting it, I thought, oh, this would make a perfect quick gift knit for somebody. And I think it's so pretty because it's got the color work and it's just 2-stranded color work. So it's not like an overly complicated thing. It's made with worsted weight wool. So it's going to be a quicker knit. And this particular wool is very toasty. In fact, I need to take it off because I'm getting really warm. Guys, I'm just going to say real quick, I got new glasses a couple of months ago. It was back in September, actually. These are progressives. So they have like bifocals in them that you can't see. Like they don't have the bifocal line. They are amazing. I didn't realize. I've been going for years. Like when I read or when I knit or when I do anything kind of close, like everything was so blurry. It was so annoying. And then my eye doctor, when I went to see him in August, he's like, well, you need reading glasses. And I'm like, oh, really? So I got these and they're amazing. And I don't want to wear my contacts because I have double vision too. So my glasses correct the double vision because of the way that they make the lens of the glasses. They're called prism lenses. Anyway, so my contacts don't correct for that. And then I did just order some bifocal contacts because I do wear my contacts to work because I have to wear a mask at work and I don't know how people wear glasses with masks. I can't, it fogs up, I get all stressed out, I can't see, so then I gotta take the glasses off, then I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. So my eye doctor gave me a trial pair of bifocal contacts and they're not as nice as wearing my glasses, and my eyes do get tired because it doesn't correct my double vision, but it does at least correct my need for reading glasses. But I'm just like so thankful for these glasses because they're just wonderful. I can see far away, I can see close, and I don't see double. They're like they cover everything. Anyway, okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to say about this one. And it is really warm because, the floats, it kind of like doubles the fabric up. Also, the only other thing I want to say is it's said to bind off with a stretchy bind off method. And I normally use Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, or my favorite is a tubular bind off, but that is quite time consuming. So I thought I'm just going to do the tubular bind off because I like the way it looks. If you don't know, a tubular bind off basically makes your stitches look like they just kind of waterfall over. So you don't have that typical bind off look. So I cut my yarn. I left a long tail, which is what you have to do when you do a tubular bind off. And I looked up the directions on Google because I haven't done it enough to just remember it, because it is a little tricky. There is a certain way you have to do it. It does take more time, but I went to look it up, and then I'm like, oh, darn. Because this is a 2x2 ribbing, I needed to convert it to a 1x1 ribbing before I could do the tubular bind off, but I had already cut my yarn, and I knew I wasn't going to have enough yarn to do that. So I just did this surprisingly stretchy bind off, but let me show you what I mean. It gets all loose. See? It's like loose and, well, it's supposed to be loose, but it doesn't look neat. It looks just yuck. I don't like that. It doesn't look neat. It's really loose and just kind of hangs there. And I haven't blocked this yet. So maybe if I decide to block it, because honestly, there's really not a need to, because it's just for me. And I think it already looks really nice. I don't know if that stretchiness will kind of settle down once I block it, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But if I make this again in the future, and especially if I make it for somebody else, I will remember not to cut my yarn, but to do the tubular bind off. That's the bind off I've been using on sweaters when I do the cuffs and the band, the waistband. Okay, and here's what I have left. I used 2 balls, which are, where did that go? Oh, here we go. So each 100-gram ball has 210 yards. I used probably 75% of this one, which is called Mercury. And then this one I used maybe 50% of it, maybe. I haven't weighed it. I'm just guessing by like feel and by looking at it. And this one's called Natural Mix, which I'll link the colors below if you are interested in this. And I'm pretty sure I just bought this at Michael's at some point, but like I said, I've had it for multiple years in my stash, so I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it. But Peyton's yarn is typically quite affordable. I like their sock yarn too. I've used that multiple times. It makes a really sturdy sock. If you're looking for a really sturdy sock yarn, Peyton's Croy sock yarn is really, really nice. Okay, so before I move on to what I'm working on, I guess I should mention what I'm wearing. This is my Felix pullover, and I podcasted about this not too long ago. I just have it. It's cropped. I wear it over like a long cami. But this is in Baracco Mercado yarn. Don't remember the color. And it's very cozy. I like it. And I told you guys, I think a couple episodes ago, I bought more of the same type of yarn in a different color to make another one. And I think for the next one I make, which I'm planning on casting it on as soon as I finish this other sweater I'm about to show you, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit longer because this is cropped. This is okay, but it's almost on the verge of being too cropped for me. So I have a short torso, and from what I've read, not that this really matters, but I just know what I feel good wearing. People with short torsos need to elongate, so wearing cropped shirts do not help with that. So just a tip if you're also short torsoed like me. So yeah. Okay, so this next sweater that I'm going to show you, I showed you last episode. It's the Drama sweater by Jennifer Steingass, and I actually did not have much done, I don't think, on mine. I had showed you my daughter's, which was a sweater that I had knitted in 2019, I think. So it was the last year we went to Maine, which, yeah, that would have been 2019. So, because I had taken the finished product pictures in Maine. So let me show you this. This is mine so far. It's a work in progress, so it's not done yet. You can see I'm to the point in the body where I need to start paying attention to how much more length I want to put on it. And the way that I normally figure that out is I will get a sweater or a sweatshirt that I like, the way it fits me, and I'll lay it on my bed, and then I will lay my knitted sweater that I'm working on, I'll lay it over, and then that helps me to gauge how much further I want to knit before starting the waistband. So this is Drops Air yarn, which is this blown yarn. It's alpaca, polyamide, and some wool, I believe. And Drops Air backwards, as always. Baby alpaca, merino wool, and polyamide. The majority of this is the alpaca, and I've said this before, I've used this yarn multiple times. I think this is the 4th project that I've knitted with Drops Air, and I love it. It is so soft. My daughter can wear it, and she's very sensitive to the scratch factor, so I really recommend this. And it's like a worsted. It's a worsted weight yarn. So yeah, so I have this color, and then the contrast is like it's called pearl gray. I think this is charcoal and this is pearl gray. So what happened? Well, after my last episode, I think I had like a little bit past here, or maybe I didn't even have all the color work done. I'm not sure. But I finished the color work, and then I started the body, and I got really far in the body, and I picked it up and I looked at it. I'm like, wow, this looks really big. This looks like sloppy big. This looks like I will not wear it because it's too big. And I realized why. Because I am is it English? I always get them confused. Like, I normally, when I knit, I hold my yarn in my right hand and I kind of flick it, okay? Unless I'm doing color work, then I use both. And I feel like pretty confident in my ability to get an even tension in color work when I'm using both. So that's what I did for the yoke. I used both. And then I thought, I knit so much faster when I knit continental, which is holding it in your left hand. It's so, because you just pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I'm like, I'm just going to knit this whole sweater continental style. Yeah, it was way too loose. My gauge was way too loose, and it was so funny because all I did, so I ripped it the whole way back to the color work. And I was like, do I need to go down a size? But I didn't. I knew how Lily's sweater fit me, which it fit me like skin tight. There was no positive ease. And I didn't want that, so I'd gone up 2 sizes for this one. And I thought, I don't really think going down a size is what I want to do. So I just started knitting in English style with using my right hand to manipulate the yarn. And it's fine now. It's just so funny how much more loosely I knit when I knit continental. So I obviously need to practice that, or I need to keep that in mind. If I want to knit a sweater continental, I'm going to have to keep in mind that I'm going to have to probably go down a size to get the right fabric and the right gauge. And yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. So yes, after I finish the body, I will be putting like a chevron, it's not really a chevron, but it has before you start the waistband, there is a band of color work on the bottom of the body as well as on the bottom of the sleeves before you start the cuff of the sleeve. So I still have a lot to do on this. Honestly, this wouldn't be very time consuming. It's worsted weight yarn. It's just that I haven't been knitting on this exclusively because I've been doing other things as well. So yes, my Drama sweater, Jennifer Steingass, Drops Air in charcoal and pearl gray. And I'm sorry, it's really hard to find this Drops Air right now. I usually order it from Wool Warehouse, which is a UK-based yarn company, and I've ordered from them multiple times, and I've always been really happy with their delivery and all that. But they are currently, when I checked last week, they are currently sold out of the majority of the colors, and I feel like they have the best prices. Even though you have to pay for international shipping, they still have the best prices per skein. So I don't know if they're just temporarily out of all those things or what's going on, but because I actually thought about getting a different color to do a different sweater in. So yes, that is my Drama. And oh, okay, I need to mention another thing. I want to mention this Afghan back here because a viewer last time asked me about it. And I don't know that, I think I probably talked about this a long time ago because I made this 2 years ago in 2019, I think. This is just a big granny square. And it's not even that big. It's like a lap blanket size. I love the colors. I do. I mean, and I have worn it like a big shawl. I'll just fold it in half when I go out on the porch. When it's cool out, I'll do this. I do this at home in the house too, but I often just do it when I go out. See, it makes a nice, it's a good shawl size when you fold it in half. This is knit out of a variety of scraps, but what I did was, now this is not the particular ball that I used in this. I don't even think I used any of the these colors in this, but the whole inspiration started when I wanted to knit a granny square blanket, and I wanted it to be easy, and I didn't want to have a lot of ends to sew in. So I saw these at Michael's. This is Woolies Cakes. I've also seen something called, I think it's Lion Brand Mandela, where you just basically have it's all connected. And I thought, ooh, that'd be nice because I could just start and not stop. And I wouldn't have to weave in a bunch of ends. So that was my intention with this Afghan, that's how I started it. See? Right here, and then it went into these. However, I realized that I wanted to have more control, and I didn't want the stripes to be so wide. So I ended up going through these balls that I had bought, and I had several different ones, several different colorways of this, and I went through and I just wound off the colors. So you can see here's a darker pink, so I wound all the dark pink, then I did the light, then I did this terracotta color, and then I would have done the purple, and I made individual balls, and then I just used those balls as much of that length as I wanted. So I didn't necessarily use a whole ball at a time. Does that make sense? And then I could move the colors around too, because if I didn't necessarily want it in this order, then I could have more color control, and I could have more width control on these. And you can see as I went out, most of my stripes ended up getting more narrow because I was using, because it's more wide as you work around the square. I actually really love, it's so pretty. I love those colors. Isn't it so pretty? This is one of those projects that I like to stare at because it makes me so happy. It does. Also, the mandala is nice because you don't have to buy a bunch of skeins of different colors. So do you see how that could be beneficial? It's more economical, and then you're not left with a ton of leftovers. I do have some small balls left, and I just have them in a container in the closet. And if I want to do another scrappy project, I know they're there and I can use them. I love scrappy projects. Oh, okay, I want to talk about something later. I need to remember. The scrappy project thing just reminded me I wanted to talk about something. So I want to make another one. I want to make it even bigger because this is good for like me cuddling up in, but it's not big. It's not like, it won't cover my whole body. I am tall, but it won't cover my whole body. So what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and this is a free pattern too. This is from Red Heart, and it's called Granny's Treasure. Again, it's backwards. Let's see. And I don't know how the pattern calls for Red Heart Boutique Treasure, and I don't even know what that yarn is. And I don't even know if they make it anymore because I printed this off. This pattern date is 2012. I printed this off a while ago, and I've had it down in my crochet binder. But I'll link it down below. I'm sure it's still on Ravelry or somewhere on the internet, and you can check that out for those of you who crochet and are interested. And actually, I would say this is a really good first crochet project because the tricky thing about crochet, and I was a crocheter before I was a knitter, but the tricky thing is lining up the edges. It's not like knitting where you have a certain amount of stitches on a needle. Crochet, you're just working one stitch at a time. So sometimes when you get to the end of a row, you look at it and you can get confused on where to put that last crochet, or maybe I need another crochet stitch there, or oh, did I put too many? And that's why you'll see people, like when they're first learning to crochet, you'll see this happen, or you'll see this happen. Does anybody know what I'm talking about here? You tracking with me? I still remember my first crochet project when I was a very little girl. I was under 10 years old. My grandma had taught me to crochet, and it was a blanket I was making for one of my baby dolls, and it was like this. This is it. Like this. Granny squares, you just keep going around and around, so you don't have to worry about the edges. Which is why granny squares, in my opinion, make very nice first crochet projects. And this is all just double crochets. Yeah. So, yes. But I just wanted to mention that because I've had several people ask me to talk about this afghan. And I realized I did talk about it, but it's been a long time. All right, so I'm going to pause this real quick because I have a couple projects I want to show you for gift knitting because they're quick ones, but I forgot to bring them over here. Oh, wait. I have another work in progress. I love Charlie Brown Christmas. Does anybody else? My daughter doesn't like Charlie Brown. My son Ian and I do. Lily is annoyed by him. She said he whines too much and he's always depressed. I like Charlie Brown. Anyway, this is a pair of Christmas socks. And I bought this yarn this year. Last month, actually. Or no, it was probably the beginning of November I bought it. From Yarn Cafe Creations. And this is one of her Christmas colors. It's called Foil Wrapped Santas. Which I thought, I can see that. You know those little foil wrapped candies that your grandmother used to buy at Christmas time? So it also reminds me of those the vintage glass ornaments that are different colors, which I meant to grab one because I have some on my tree and I wanted to show you what I meant. But oh, it's not really, there we go. Look how beautiful those colors. These colors make me so happy. And the pattern I'm using is it's the Austin Socks by Kay, Crazy Sock Lady Designs. I love this slip stitch heel. It's really, I think it really gives a nice reinforced heel. But anyway, yeah. So this is my first one. My first sock. And I didn't do any Christmas socks last year because I'd done a pair in 2019 and I just wore them again for Christmas. And they were very Christmassy because they were a self-striping yarn from Regia or Opal or something, and it was red, green, and white. And so they were very obviously Christmas. These aren't. I mean, I totally get the reference to Santa or foil wrapped Santas, but I could wear this. I have a lot of these colors in my wardrobe. So, so pretty. So pretty. And I'm going to have enough to make another pair because I didn't make this super high. Didn't make a super long leg. So I will have enough to make a shorty pair. All right, now I'm going to pause. I'm going to go grab those couple of projects and I will return. Okay, now these are all going to be smaller projects, of course, because it is the end of November. We are quickly sliding into December, and if I'm going to include good gift knit options, they need to be quick and smaller projects. I have talked about all of these things on previous episodes, so I'm not going to really get into them. I just want to show them to you and link the, put the links below in case you're interested. Now, all of these patterns are paid for except for one. No, I'm sorry, two of them. Two of them are not. So I just posted, I'll show you these cute little slippers first. They're dirty because I wear them. I'm not going to show you up close what the bottom of them look like, but these are the Simple House Slippers. There you go. By Temple of Knit. I printed this pattern off a long time ago, and at the time it was a free pattern. And I was doing some investigating, and I'm pretty certain you can still get the free pattern on Temple of Knit's website. You might have to do a little investigating with that. She does have it now that you can pay for a pattern, and you can actually get a sized pattern, because this pattern is just written for one size. And for me, that's not a big deal. I just adjust the length of the foot depending on who I'm making them for. And I have probably made, oh my goodness, 20 pairs of these. I don't know, maybe more, because I've given them as gifts. That's why I can say confidently they make good gift knits. And I basically just, you just make them a bit smaller than the foot so that they stretch out and fit well. And this is like a Lion Brand yarn. I don't even remember what it was called. And then I just did a little contrast up there just to make it more interesting. But what you do is you knit this garter ridge part, you knit it flat, and then you join it together, and then you knit in the round for the rest of the foot. So that's my first one. These are super fast to make because it is made with worsted weight yarn, and you could get all kinds of fancy with these. I have all kinds of like visions of beautiful Simple House slippers in my prettier yarn, like my taking 2 DK strands. I'm looking over at my yarn right now. I have a shelf of yarn across the room. But like holding strands together and making marled with some of my indie dyed yarn, you could totally do that. You could just have so much fun with these. Okay, so that's my first suggestion. I'll just do the other free pattern now. This one, I love this hat. This is called the Norwegian Star Hat. It is a free pattern, and it is color work, of course. It's not hard though. You can do, so I don't remember what the original pattern had, like if it was just 2 color, but you can play around with it and do however you want. I used the Lamb's Pride wool for this, and I don't remember the colors. You know what? I'm pretty sure I have a Ravelry project page for this one. I'm horrible with keeping my project pages updated on Ravelry, but I'm pretty sure I have one for this. So if I do, I'll link to that. And you can, if you like this color scheme, you can see the colors that I used. But I just think this is so pretty. I made it for myself, and then it was too small for my head because of my hair. My husband wears it, so he claimed it. And every now and then, if it's not incredibly cold out, I will put it on because, let me show you what I mean. So with my hair, it doesn't fully cover my ears because my hair makes it, the thickness of my hair makes it stay out a bit. Where my husband puts it on and it fully covers his ears. If it wasn't for not covering my ears, it would be an extremely warm hat because it's this really nice thick wool. Plus, it's got the color work, so you've got like double thickness up there. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but my hubby benefited from it, and I can make myself another one, right? Because I have more of this yarn. So yeah, Norwegian star hat. Number 3 is another hat. This is a paid for pattern. This is the veil hat made with fingering weight yarn. This is by the Blue Mouse. So what is, yeah, the Blue Mouse, Emily. And let me put it on. This is good for like cool weather, but I would not wear this hat out on my walks because not in the dead of winter. It's not warm enough for that. But she does have another version that I think is DK. It's either DK or worsted weight. And I made this with String Theory yarn that I had bought in Bar Harbor, Maine when we were up there probably 4 years ago. So it's another quick knit. And if you do the heavier weight of yarn, it would be even quicker. Okay, so that's this one. This yarn's really pretty. See those colors? All those warm colors. All right, now let's move to the neck. I already showed you the Illusion Squared Cowl. This is Birds and Ships by Caitlin Hunter. Honestly, I don't wear this one very much. I don't know why. It's pretty though. I mean, I have worn it. I love the tassel on the bottom. You could totally leave the tassel off. But it's just got that really pretty lace work there. And then some garter ridges. And I think I knit this out of a Knit Picks yarn. Pretty sure, but I don't remember. And I know I don't have a Ravelry page for this project. So, but it's fingering weight. It is fingering weight. Okay, so even though it's fingering weight, I don't know. I remember it being a really quick knit. And I knit this right before Christmas a few years back. Because I remember posting pictures of it on Instagram and the Christmas tree was in the background. The next two things that I'm going to show you are actually fingerless mitts. Again, I don't wear fingerless mitts outside this time of year because they're way too cold. It's way too cold. But I do wear these a lot in the spring and fall. And I decided that after this past fall, I need to knit more because we did a couple of outdoor hay rides and my kids went to some things and I was handing out fingerless mitts to my kids and their friends for these activities. They gave them back then, but I thought I need to make some spare pairs to have on hand so, you know, everybody can get a pair to borrow. All right, so this first pair, these are called the Sparrow Mitts. This pattern is by Lisa Seifert. Dual Valley Girl is her Instagram account, and they're a nice, simple cabled mitt, and they actually, if I remember correctly, used a tubular sewn bind off, so you can see what I mean. Like the stitches just kind of flow over. See that? There's not like some direct, just blunt stop. They just flow over. I love that tubular bind off. So these I've worn a lot, which you can tell. Like they look a little worse for the wear. I think this is a Lion Brand yarn, so it's washable. I always like to gift knit washable yarns. And I like Lion Brand for that. I feel like their yarns, they're washable yarns, like their Wool Ease. I think it's the Wool Ease. I think that's I think that's what this is. I don't know though if that's correct. I don't know. But these could be washed. And then the last quick gift knit there's another pair of fingerless mitts, and because I love color work, I love color work so much. I find color work so fun to knit. And this pattern is from Fox and Folk. And again, these are worn too because I've used them a lot. These are little ones. Let me put it on. I don't know why I didn't put the other pair on. My daughter Lily really loves these. She always wears these. But these are the Briar mitts by Fox and Folk. Yeah. Are they pretty? Little flowers. You can't see the flowers really good because I didn't pick the best colors for this color work. But they're actually very warm. I forget what yarn I even used. I think I used some sort of Cascade. And I do not think this is, I think whatever yarn I used was a non-superwash. So these would have to be hand washed, which honestly, I do hand wash my knits, even if they don't have to be hand washed. I do, but like I said, when you're giving a gift, I just don't expect people to want to go through the trouble of hand washing and, you know, all that stuff. Especially if they're not a knitter. If it was a fellow knitter, then I would totally do it because they get it. They get it. Okay. So that's all I have for that. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I recently purchased because they're beautiful and I just want to share them. So the first thing I purchased was a mini skein set from River of a Knitter's Homestead. And this was her Marie Antoinette Yarn Club. And these colors, oh my gosh. She packages, I've ordered multiple things from her, and her packaging always is just so incredible. Speaks to my soul. But look how pretty these colors are. I'm going to make this into a cowl. I made a cowl once. I think it was called The Land of Sweets by, oh gosh, Helen Stewart. So I made that cowl out of a mini skein set that I had ordered from 6 and 7 Fiber. And then a friend of mine really liked it. So I gave it to her and I never made myself another one. And when I got this in the mail, that was the first thing I thought of. I should make myself that cowl again and use these mini skeins because they're just so gorgeous. They're so gorgeous. This is an 85-15 blend, these minis. I don't know if River watches my podcast, but she is, a Knitter's Homestead is her Instagram name, and I love her stuff. Okay, another one of my favorite dyers just recently released a bunch of Christmas colors, and I literally set my alarm for this because I have done this in the past where I thought I'll remember and I'll get on, and it'll be like 15 minutes after the update and there's nothing left. She was showing some like little glimpses into her Christmas colorways, and I thought I am setting my alarm to go off 2 minutes. So I set it for 10:58 because she was updating at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, I think is what it was. And, you know, I'm an hour ahead. And I got on there and I was like sweating because I know that sounds so silly. It really sounds silly, but I really wanted to get this yarn, and I could tell because it was like low stock, or it was saying like, there's only one left and it's in 20 people's carts. You know how Etsy tells you that. But anyway, this fiber, or this yarn is, I have bought fiber off of her before. I've bought actually, okay, it's Old Wire Road Fiber Co. But she has, I think her original name was Briar Ridge, and then something happened with, like, I don't know, she had to switch her name, but it's Ashley of Old Wire Road Fiber Co. And I bought 2. Let me show you them. Okay, let me show them to you individually. This is Whoville. This colorway is Whoville. It's such a happy color. I think I'm gonna make myself a hat with this. I mean, it's really bright, and it's not normally something that I would, I don't know. Oops. But it's so pretty. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want socks. I might want that on my head where everybody can see it because it's so beautiful. Those colors are so beautiful. She did a pre-order. I don't know that she's doing that anymore because she sold out of all her stuff right away. Like I said, I was nervous of that happening, and I was glad that I had set my alarm and gotten on there in time. Okay, so this is just a very happy, bright, cheery Christmas skein of yarn. And then we've got the other one, which is A Merry Little Christmas. That's the name of it. And this one is gorgeous as well. Oh, look, this like corally color in there with it. Oh my gosh, Ashley, you are just amazing. I don't know if Ashley watches either, but I have bought multiple skeins of yarn off of her in the past, and fiber. Everything she does is just amazing. In fact, I'm looking over at my yarn shelf and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 skeins of yarn that I bought and I haven't made anything with yet. And I've made stuff with her yarn. So I really like Ashley's yarn that she dyes, and her fiber, which she doesn't do the fiber anymore. She had taken a long break. I think it was a long break, as I was off Instagram for a long time, and but she took a long dyeing break, and I think she just recently started back up again with her dyeing. But anyway, those were my goodies that I treated myself to, and I don't know that I'll cast all of those on for this Christmas, but if not, I will have it for next year, and I will not buy Christmas yarn next year. Okay, remind me of that, because I already have enough. Okay, so I think that's it for today. 52 minutes, that's pretty good. Okay, so do you guys watch Vlogmas? Do you watch Vlog? Okay, I love, there's some Vlogmases that I absolutely love. I love A Homespun House, her Vlogmas, which she doesn't do every day anymore because she has a Patreon page. So I think she puts every day on there, and then she only puts like, I don't know, every now and then she'll put it on YouTube, which makes me really sad. But, so I like hers, and Ollie and Bella Sherry has done it in the past. I'm trying to think who else I've watched. Ina Knits, however, I don't know how she pronounces her name. She hasn't really been active though, so I'm not sure if she's going to be doing Vlogmas, or she did like a Huga series, which I really enjoyed. And I don't know. Okay, give me some other suggestions. If you guys know of Vlogmas people doing Vlogmas that you're looking forward to watching. I would love to do it, but I'm like, I don't know that I'd really have anything interesting to film. I don't know. Plus, I've said before, the editing. Oh, and they make it look so good with their Christmas music playing over the video, and it's like, I just love it, but I don't even know how to play music over, like, I just don't. I could figure it out, but what I would really like is for one of my children to learn how to do it. I would literally pay them to edit. I'd be like, I'm going to do Vlogmas. I'm going to pay you this much per video. You can edit, make it sound nice, put the music in, all that stuff. And that I would totally do that. There's something about editing. So I'm also excited because I had put a call out on Instagram about doing an Advent swap, seeing if anybody was interested in doing an Advent swap. And Carista of Sweet Mountain Crafts and I are going to do one. I sent all of her stuff out last week. She already got it, and she said mine is to arrive tomorrow. So we did like a swap of 25 minis and then some other little treats. And this will be the first time that I'm doing like a full 25-day. Olivia from This Handmade Life, she and I did a swap probably 4 years ago. And I've never bought an advent calendar. I've talked about this before. I can't do it. I cannot bring myself to push the purchase button on those because they're beautiful, but they're just like, I don't know, they just feel really expensive. And it's not like I'm trying to discount the dyer's work. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just like, is this a responsible thing for me to do? You know what I mean? So Krista and I are doing this exchange, and I'm super excited to do that. So I think that'll be fun. And we have some other fun things planned. I love Thanksgiving to New Year's. It's like, it's such a nice, cozy family time. You know, it's just, I don't know, I really enjoy it. I think a lot of people, I know not everyone does, but a lot of people do. Thanksgiving is actually my favorite holiday. And part of that is because of my grandmother and how she always did it growing up, going to their farmhouse, and she just was amazing. And all my family from other states would come, and it was just, that kind of stuck with me. So Thanksgiving's always been my favorite holiday. And then also the fact that it kind of kicks off that whole holiday season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I'm so glad I was able to get on here and film this, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I will put down where I'm found on Instagram down below, as well as Ravelry, which I really don't keep that updated, as I said. And if you guys like this, I would appreciate like if you want to subscribe or like this video. It just helps out a bit. And yeah, just a quick shout out, Ellie of Little Fern Fibers and Tara of A Loop Through a Loop just recently put out new videos. I love watching their videos. I get excited. I get excited when they put out new videos. And Ellie just recently had a baby, so she had kind of been on a hiatus. And Tara films once a month, and she does like a month recap, and she films at the end of the month. So it's she does it differently than most podcasters. So it's really cool. And plus I just love her. Those two women, I just love listening to. There's other podcasts I love too. I'm just giving another shout out. I know I've given them shout outs in the past, but I just lately, when I've seen a video pop up from them, I'm like, yes. So, and I'm always up for you guys to share podcast suggestions down below. So yeah, let me know, if you have any other nice, like good, quick gift knitting project ideas that took a while to get out, comment below, and I'll look those up and maybe share some on my Instagram account. And I hope you guys enjoy the holiday season. I may film again before Christmas, but my tracking history is not very good on that. So I may not. I don't know. And maybe I could pay one of my kids to like edit my videos and I'll do Vlogmas, but that's highly doubtful as well. So guys, have a fantastic December, because we're heading right into there. Tomorrow's the last day of November. So have a fantastic December, and I hope to talk to y'all soon. Bye.